Greetings, salutations, and all good things in between. What's up, everyone? Matt here. Welcome to the live stream. Happy Friday. Hope you've been having a good week, getting stuff done. Maybe you've been getting out and enjoying some of these cooler temperatures that we've had. Maybe the trees are starting to change. I know there's a few around here. I'm getting really excited. I'm kind of one of them shutterbugs. I like this fall stuff. Anyways, so what do we got going on this week, right? Well, I've got a few updates that I'm going to go over. AppSheet has given us a powerful new diagnostic tool. I'm going to go over that and kind of explore, see what that's all about. And I've realized how, woefully inaccurate or just unhelpful that the shopping cart part 7, the part where I'm talking about totals, right, and discounts. Yeah, I had a hard look at that after some comments from some of you guys and realized, yeah, I kind of need to redo the whole thing. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's really kind of missing. So I'm going to do that in this live stream. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you joining in. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, all that good stuff. Now let's get to it. All right, what's up, everyone? So thanks for joining me. The first thing that I want to go over is you've probably noticed I got a little thing right here. Yeah, so I am starting a new donation campaign. If you would like to help me upgrade what I've got going on around here, the next thing that I'm working on is the primary camera. This one's pretty good, but that one is really, can you see how grainy and crappy it is? It's really kind of a crappy one. And then this one is technically it's a GoPro. It works all right, but you know what I mean? I'd like to upgrade a little bit if I could. So I'm starting a donation campaign. If you would, there we go. If you would like to help, make a donation. The link should be down in the description. I appreciate all the help that you guys provide. Other than that, the only real major update that I've got to go over today is I made a change to the standard starting template. It's a minor one, but it was just, I was using it and I noticed that the edit window wasn't doing the edit window thing. And so I went and I looked in and I was like, well, why isn't this working? And I noticed that the edit window close column, okay, the formula for that was erroneously placed inside the initial value space, but it needs to be the app formula. So that's what I've done is I've gone back through to all of the places where the standard starting template is available. So that includes if you're a Patreon supporter, there's a couple of places. There's a straight up folder for the auto table standard starting template. It has all of the guides and everything on how to use it. I've updated that one. I've updated the like the mass table where all the auto tables are like tested out, if you will. It's the first Google Sheet when you first drop into the Patreon folder. That one. I've updated that one. It's for sale for $10 on my website, multitechvisions.com. I've updated that one. And then there's a few other ones that I like that are stragglers around here that are kind of connected to a few. Everything I've updated. So if you already use this, right, and you do make use of the edit window, this is an update that you're going to need to make to whatever app that you have where you're using this edit window. And chances are, if you tried to implement the usage of the edit window, you've noticed it doesn't work. And then you probably noticed, oh, well, I got to move that to the app formula space. But if not, this is the thing you've got to do. You just got to go back to your template, go back to your app. Let me get an app open in an editor for you, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here is my streaming app that I use. I think I did the standard starting template. No, of course not. This one? No, of course not. Is there an edit window on any of these? Like I take everything out. Okay, here we go. Here's the edit window. So The thing you need to do is you need to come back in down here into this little metadata section and find the edit window close. And the thing that you need to do is you see how the edit window close doesn't have anything inside of its app formula. If you scroll all the way to the right, you'll see there's a formula here in the initial value. You just need to take this, cut it out of here, come over here to the edit window close and put it in the formula space. The reason we need to do this is because we need this column, which is like, it holds the technical end of the edit window. So this is the timestamp where we're saying is now greater than that timestamp. So that needs to be a dynamic thing that updates all the time. It can't be in the initial value. Follow me? Yeah. So that's the thing that you've got to do. You just got to come inside here and just move the formula that's already there. You don't have to change anything. You just got to move it. Move it from one place to the other. And I noticed it changed the type to a changed timestamp. If it does that, you'll want to make sure you put that back to a date time. You're not going to want to leave that as a changed timestamp. That'll do weird stuff. Change timestamps are weird. They have some eccentricities to them. So anyways, that's that stuff. If you need to make those updates, make them. If you struggle, if you have any problems, just reach out to me. You can email me. If you're a patron, you got the Patreon chat thing over there. YouTube, you know, whatever. There's a billion ways to contact me. Let me know if you have problems. That's all I got for this first section, everybody. Next, let's move on and see what's been going on over in YouTube. All right, the first one that I want to talk about is from Jared. Jared, are you in the house? I see Graham's here. I see hat number 1. I like hats. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Jared is the first person that I'm going to cover for the YouTube stuff. He says that the shopping cart link for number 7 is broken. Okay, so I hopped into the description, you know what I mean, where I have the link for the before and the after, and both of those are set to the correct links, because like I went and I got the links and I put them, so they're there. So I'm not sure what you mean. Let me know what you're talking about, Jared. A little confused. The next one that I want to talk about is on one of the recent videos where I talk about how it's an excerpt from one of these live streams where I was talking about how you can do where you can create an inventory update system using automation. So I don't have to do it, but like when I say I've received something, cool, then go to the thing and like add 5. Or when I say that I've finally sold something and we've shipped something, then okay, then go to the product thing and say, cool, take 6 out of that. You know what I mean? So I was talking about that, and Jake asked the question. Can you read that? Kinda. I'm just getting started with AppSheet, and it seems as if the possibilities are nearly limitless. Insert echo effect. I've already learned a ton from your videos. Thanks for what you do. Thank you, good sir. I appreciate the kind words. Wondering if you have, or can you do a more in-depth video on join tables? I work in inventory control, and I'm in the process of building an app to track inventory by tracking locations within a warehouse, similar to what you show in this video, but I'm thinking I'm missing some of the details on the join table and linking child records. Yeah, the thing about join tables and anything when it comes to multi-record reference things is it's all about the references. And so, but yeah, sure. Absolutely. It's on the list of things to do. I'll definitely dive into this more. But before I get there, the thing that you could do for research on your own, if you search for just standard one-to-many references, That's like keyword category that you could Google and find a boatload of resources on YouTube. There's a ton, like, you know what I mean? That's like standard database design reference 101, one-to-many references. Other keywords you could look up is like parent-child relationship. And really it's a matter of getting comfortable with the like part one, which is, the one-to-many references. You got to get the whole reference thing and how it works and get kind of that all under your belt before you can move on to doing many-to-many references. Because with a join table, it's really two sets of one-to-many, right? I've got my employees and it has a many to the employee assignments. I've got my projects and it has a one-to-many to the assignments, right? And so there's two of those that are going on, but there's still technically just one-to-manys. There's just two of them working in tandem. So having the core of a one-to-many references under your belt and like, I got that on lock, having that mentality, that's where you're going to want to be to kind of start doing things like that. Good point. Good points of reference here, guys. I like these questions. This is good stuff. Moving on to the next one. We got Muhammad S is talking about for this how to move a record with a button, hot linking. That's where you flag, say, a parent record, and then like hold that in a slice, and then I can have conditional actions that see that there's something inside that slice on other tables that I can then press, and then the whole thing's lined up to where it all links to the one record that I'm holding inside the slice. I call it hot linking. The question he has, Muhammad, says, thank you for this. I'm curious, what would happen if on your side you flagged a destination and then on the other end the user clicks on a record? Would it move it, or would it not apply on their side, instead just show the detail records to them? Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So I think what you're referring to here is you're talking about a multi-user system. And yeah, building things for multi-users, when you're doing things like this, you got to go a different way. And generally when I'm moving forward with these initial type of examples like this, I don't include that sort of complexity because it adds a layer of complexity to everything. So like every mechanism that you build inside your app, it has another layer to it now that we've got to account for a person versus that person. Do you know what I mean? So like I leave that out to try and simplify because it's already complicated enough. You know what I mean? But okay, how would you do this? Okay, so the key behind any kind of multi-user system like this, right, is it's the same idea, the same concepts for the mechanisms. So when I push the button, it puts a value inside the form type. I'm just going to stick with standard starting template column names. So when I push the button to flag the parent, it puts a value inside the form type, and then I've got a slice that's looking for that value inside the form type, and it holds it, right? So that's the standard setup for like hot linking, right? If you want to make that a multi-user system, the only thing that you got to do to change this, right, is you've got to add in the user email into things. And, this is where it could get complicated. The general way that I found that's best to go about this, I'll make a video because there's a lot of steps to make this smooth. But the general method I found to make this work best is the same idea, put the flag inside the form type, but instead of just putting the flag, instead what you do is the action that sets the flag isn't just, like flagged, whatever, or like ongoing or open or copying, right? It wouldn't be just that. What you would do is you'd create a concatenation of the flag with the email of the person that set the flag. And then you change the form type or not. You could leave it a text. Again, this is what I'm talking about. It's really complicated to get it to work. The idea, though, is instead of just one thing inside of the form type, you make it a list so that when I push it, it adds my flag to the list. So when you push it, it adds your flag to the list, but it doesn't overwrite mine. It leaves mine there, just adds mine, it adds yours to the list. So now I'm there and you're there, right? And then when I press the remove button, it removes it from the list. Now, thankfully, all of these things are relatively easy to do because of list math inside of AppSheet. You can just say this list minus this list, and it's good to go. So it's relatively easy to do, but there's a lot of moving parts and pieces to make it work. So I'll make a video to cover all of that. But that's the idea, right? Is I add my flag to the list in the form type, and then the slice, instead of just looking for the flag, it's looking for my user, like either my user ID or my email, or however you choose to differentiate the people. It's looking for my flag and my email or something, right? That's the general idea. Other than that, like the broad strokes of everything, of how it all works, is basically the same thing. You just have to change it so that it can account for multiple values inside things instead of one. Hope it helps. Maybe not. I can get onto some weird tangents and run off. You know what I mean? All right. Anyways, moving on. Just checking for comments. The next one that I'm gonna do, the rest of these are ones that I'm holding on to, if you will. The one from Kimit Patel, he wants to do a daily, weekly, and monthly report from inventory. That's something that's going to eventually be a part of the shopping cart app that I'm working on. It's number 10. I'm on number 7. So we'll get there. I'm just kind of holding on to it. And then the last one down here from Diogo is for a script integration with calendar stuff. So if you were here last week, you saw I tried to start doing stuff like that because I found that GCal meetings thing. Just to kind of follow up on that, I submitted a help ticket to AppSheet support saying, this doesn't work. Check out the video. And they got back to me relatively quickly and said, yeah, clearly something's wrong. We'll report this to the engineering team. We'll get back to you. So, that's usually how it goes. So maybe in a couple of weeks we'll find out. Hopefully that'll start working. But that's that was the first thing I was going to do, was just that GCal meeting formula bit, because that looked like it would be a perfect solution for everything. It would really make things easy. So if they get that working, cool. But yeah, calendar with a script, there's a lot of moving parts to that. That's what I got for the YouTube comments. Let's move on to the next. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is they're on the new My Apps page. They have released a new update to where it's easier to find documentation under the help menu. So, there's a nice little search box right here. You can just get right to the documentation that you need. It's always fun, right? That's a nice little thing. There's also a list of the sub-processors that AppSheet uses. It's now available inside the AppSheet Help Center. Like legal regulatory requirements. It's nice to have that stuff. Now it's easily found inside the Help Center. The inside, if you are using the new desktop UI, and you have grouped things together, there is now a all group available. Evidently it wasn't there before. I could have sworn it was, but if it wasn't, it is now. And arguably the biggest one, the one that, the reason I'm not focusing on any of the other ones, is AppSheet released a new diagnostic tool for us to use to help us figure out what virtual columns are causing the biggest slowdown inside the system. Now, this was something that has always technically been a thing that you could do inside of AppSheet. There was the performance analyzer and the audit log. You could go inside and you could look at each individual action that happened. So when somebody saved the record into the system, you could go in and see how long that took. But getting to that information was, it was involved. There was a lot involved there. It was, you have to go to the manage, you have to go to the performance thing, you have to click on the thing, it opens the thing, you have to wait for it, and then you got to dig through it and really kind of understand what's inside there. And it was dense in data. Do you know what I mean? So what they've done is they've taken all of that really, really good all of that really, really good diagnostic data, because you could dig into it to a point to where it would tell you, in fact, I'm just going to open up an app and we'll show you. It would tell you how long each and every individual thing takes to happen, and down to how long does it take this column to load. Well, there's 15 steps for that one virtual column to load. Where's the part in that chain that's making it take so long? So you could dig down into that. They've given us a better way to look at it. So I've got my app. We come over here. If you go into the Manage tab over here and up to Monitor, let's see. I haven't really looked at this yet, so let's go to the community announcement and see what the community announcement says. So I'll just read this out real quick. Virtual columns, though useful, are often based on complex app formulas that can quickly consume resources and impact the overall performance of your app. Until now, there was no way to determine the average computation time required by virtual columns when compared to the total sync time. The new average virtual column computation time by app version graph, that's a title, is now available when you access the performance profile by selecting Manage Performance Analyzer. Use this graph to better understand how the computation time for virtual columns in different app versions is affecting the sync performance, and gain insights to improve app performance. The feature has been rolled out to all customers, so that's nice to hear. All right, so we got to go to Manage Performance Analyzer. So go to Manage, Monitor, Performance Analyzer. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing a Performance Analyzer anywhere in here. Did I miss something? Nope. Manage Performance Analyzer. It's not a thing on mine. I have a performance profile, but that's the old thing that was already there. Hello to everybody. Hello, Hamlet. Hello, Simon. Thanks for jumping in, guys. Anybody play with this new feature? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's right here. Okay. So the way to get to it, in case you're lost and you're trying to follow what they said here, you got to go to Manage, Monitor, Performance Profile, and launch the Performance Analyzer. That opens up a new tab, and inside the new tab, which just is the regular thing that's always been here, they have a new graph here for you. This is kind of nice, Yeah. So you can see stream dates.post stream checklist, right? So these are, so the first part, there we go. Let's capture that. So the first part is the table. The second part is the virtual column. You've got what version you're using and how long, even though I kind of covered it up, how long the actual thing takes itself. It's pretty nice. So you could easily come inside here and be like, whoa, if you had something that was huge, you know what I mean? You'd really quickly be able to see it. And then, yep, these are dynamic, so you can turn off. So I could get down to like, how long does this one thing, oh, they even have a checklist for, check that out. They even have a little checklist for grouped versus stacked. Yeah, so like one of my virtual columns that I have is a thing that estimates how long each segment's going to take. So that takes 0.023 seconds. It's pretty quick. But yeah, you know what I mean? If you had an app that was really starting to take a lot of time. It was really, you got like the thing where it's taking 20, 30, 50 seconds. This could really, really help. This could really make things clean for you. So that's the biggest update for AppSheet news. Other than that, that's all I got. Let's move on to the next one, y'all. Okay, I got a couple of things that I'm going to go over in this one. The biggest one, as I mentioned earlier, is I'm going to basically redo the shopping cart part 7. The thing that I realized is, mate, I didn't even include a price field on the order detail rows. Like, you could select the product that you want. You could say how many you wanted, and the customer products have prices. But like, I didn't include, yeah. So it's like, somebody pointed that out. I was like, oh man, yeah, okay. No, I just need to redo the whole thing. So that's going to take up the larger end portion of this stream. But I've got a couple of questions that I'm going to go over first. The first one comes from Bolognesie. What's up, buddy? I hope you're watching. He asks, how can I create a summary child record if I have multiple child records of the same type? So what he's really talking about here is, he has a post, and I'll get to it and where we can go over it in more detail here. What he's really talking about is like, okay, take the shopping cart app, right? What happens if I've got multiple of the same products, right? I don't want to print all of them individually in certain places. In the primary order, sure, yeah, I want to be able to see each individual one. Maybe I have a note that differentiates what's different between each one for that. But then, like, when I'm reordering stuff, like there, I don't need to see every individual thing. It'd be nice to have a summary. Or, in his particular case, he has the primary parent table is fertilization plans, and then the child is the intervention rows. So he's building a system where he can create a fertilization plan for a field, right? So the parents, the fertilization field, and then the individual child records are like chemical A for however long for this minute, or whatever. It's all the details for the individual things that need to be done. Okay, but so what he's saying is, so what if some of my individual intervention rows include the same thing, like product number 1 and product number 1 again? I want a way that I could create a summary of those products that are used without having to show the duplicates. Okay, so the way that he's trying to go about it here is, it looks like, David, what you're trying to do here is you're trying to combine everything. You're trying to combine these two concepts into one. Like, you've got the idea of the individual intervention rows, and those are the individual things that happen, right? But then you've got this other idea of the summary of what's going on, where it's a high-level view of just the products and like the total amount used, right? Okay, that's a different concept. It's a different idea of what you're doing. And this harkens back to like some of the foundational information that's good to learn when you're first starting that you may not be aware that it'd be a good thing to learn. Data modeling is what I'm talking about here. And in that, part of the idea of data modeling is like every table stores a different concept, but each table is individualized to its concept. For instance, I could have a column on my employee table that says where that person is assigned. I could do that, right? But the concept of this employee assigned to this job is a different thing than the employee, which is what the employee record stores. Like, the employee record is all the attributes for the employee: their email, their phone, their name, the icon, the photo they want to use, whatever, fill it in. But like, they're assigned to a project, Okay, that's a different concept. And there's more things involved with that concept than just this employee in this project, right? We have things like, well, when did they start? Is it still active? When did they end, right? So it's those types of things where it's like, that's why you split it into its own table, because it gives you the space to do that. So what I'm getting at is, instead of trying to create an intervention row that you would use as this product summary, create a secondary table that's connected to both the fertilization plan and connected to the individual intervention rows. And the idea is you create one record in that table for each product that's made. And so you could have a system that would kick off where when you save the individual intervention row, where you say product number 1, right? Okay, so the first time it goes off, you have an action stack that goes off on the form save event that says, is there a product in this secondary table for the product that they just made? No, make the record. And then once you make the record, then you need to update the record that was just saved, because I want to connect that intervention with this order summary this product summary that I just made. Do you get what I mean? And that could be as easy as, I have a column inside my intervention that is a reference to this summary table. And then it's got an app formula that's saying, select for me, just do a hard select inside this one. It's only updated rarely. There's efficiency ways that you could make this to where you could make it easier and lighter on the system. But the idea, right, is just look up what is the product record for this fertilization plan for the product that I did. And then, so that's hard coded in the app formula. So then all I've got to do is hit this with an update, and then that app formula will do its work, and everything else too. Do you know what I mean? So the idea is, on the product form save event, you have two actions: one to make the product summary record if it needs to be, one to update it. Now, both of these are conditional on the product summary reference not having anything inside it. Because if you just think about the order of operations, when we first start and there's no products in my order, and then I create the thing, okay, when I first save that, there is no thing over there, which means when I was creating that record, that app formula that's looking for the corresponding product summary record, it can't find anything. So when I save it, it's blank, right? So if that's blank, these two things kick off. It makes the record, it updates it, happy days. So then fast forward, and then I add another one for the same product. Well, the second time that I create that record, that formula that I've got over here that's looking for the corresponding product summary, it'll find that product summary and it'll link it automatically when I create the record. So when that form saves, there's something inside the column so the action stack doesn't go off. Happy days. See what I mean? And by that method, as the person's building, in your case, the fertilization plan, all of these summary records are being created. All of the individual product records are being connected to those all at the same time. Obviously, there's a lot of nuance involved with all of that, right? So if you have any kind of questions or trouble further, whatever, let me know. Good stuff, mate. That was a good question. I like it. The next thing that I'm going to go over, you know what? I'm going to pass on that one because this shopping cart redo is going to take a while to do. In the next one, what I was going to do is I was going to do an exploration of, okay, so there's I'll just touch on it really quick and just give you a little teaser. A little teaser about what I was going to do. I was going to explore external eventing. So what happens if I have two apps that are connected to the same Google Sheet? And in one app, I have an automation that does whatever, right? And then on the Google Sheet, I've installed the add-on that you can get from AppSheet that when somebody modifies the sheet, it triggers automation. Okay. Now, the downside to that is that it doesn't work from third-party services. So if I use a script to change it, if I use like Zapier, if this then that, or Make or whatever they're called, like Integromat, I can't remember what they're called now. Like if you use any of those things to change it, it doesn't work, right? It won't trigger the automation. So what I was going to test out is, well, what happens if I've got another app that modifies the record? Would that trigger the automation in the other one? Let me know if you know. Let me know in the comments below. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do today is, so I've noticed there's so many problems with that shopping cart part 7. You know what I mean? It's missing a lot of stuff. So I've made a copy of the shopping cart part 7, and now I'm going to do a part 2. The first thing that I noticed inside this was that it doesn't have a, if we go to the order details, like I have what product I selected, I have the quantity, but I don't have a total price. Like I don't have a total price, which I guess, in my defense for this, when I originally started this thing, this product table was generated from using that, that spec service that AppSheet has where it's like start with an idea, and this was the product table they gave me, and it doesn't have a price column. So I never thought to include, that's my defense. My story, I'm sticking to it. All right. But all right, here's the other side of that. But when I made the customer products, I totally put a price here though. But I didn't include it. So let's do the part 7 here. So part 7, part 2. So what do I need to do? I'm going to open my, no, wrong side. I need to open my source. Okay. And then I'm going to do, so like on the order details, right? Man, I don't know what, there's probably like 14 other things that I need to add in here too. So this is the total cost. I'm going to put in here some notes. Anybody else here? All right, I'm looking in the chat right now. Anybody else think of any other columns that I've completely forgotten to add into this thing? Tell me. I'll put them in real quick. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so quantity. Okay, so instead of a quantity, one of the other things that I want to include inside this version of things while I'm making this update, right, is I want to add in the ability for weight-based prices, right? So instead of being priced per unit, it's priced per weight. I only need to make a couple of changes in order to make that work, because technically I can just reuse all of the fields that are there, right? I've got, for the customer products, I have a price field over there. Cool. It's price per whatever. And then I have a quantity field inside the actual order details. It's just a number field, right? That could be, I want 5 of them. That could be, I want 5 pounds. All I really need to do is change the label that's shown up above it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't need to add any columns to my order details. I don't need to add any columns to my products. Yeah, okay, so the thing that I would do is, yeah, I would need to change, these are the ones I would change, is in products and in customer products, I would indicate what kind of pricing this has. Okay, so let's do one thing at a time, right? So I added in a couple of new columns to my order details. I added in the total cost and a notes field. So let's add those to my app first. So on the order details, grab my new structure. Okay. And then when I'm doing this, I'm going to also add, yeah, see, I had a customer product cost. I'm going to add a cost into the product side too, because that should have been there in the first place. You know what I mean? All right, so we've got long text for notes and price for the cost. I'm going to give these a name. So this will be like total cost. And this will just be notes. Okay. I would like to be able to search by the total cost. So this now needs to be, I need to take the price of the customer product. So we go to the customer product dot, go to the customer products table, and we got a cost column. We put that in here. So the cost times the quantity. That gives us the total cost. All right, save it so it propagates. So now we've got a total cost column on each of our order items. So if I change this, so this is the order details inline view. Let's see if I modify this guy. Yeah, so why isn't it giving me a total cost? Because maybe product 5 doesn't have a cost. Yeah, none of these have a cost. Yeah, all right, so we'll just do something like this. Woo! All right. Some of these products are expensive. And we'll just do that. Call it good. Now they got some prices. Happy days. You see how we do you see how we do? This is how you do it. Now when I go in here, okay, now we got a cost. Wow, this is a very expensive product. Holy crap. Okay, so now this record should have a price, but I want to see it. So I'm going to change this view. So this is the order detail inline. I want this. I think I'll just make this, a table now. I lose the swipe thing. That kind of sucks. I really kind of like that, but whatever. Let's see. So I want what product? I want how many? I want the cost and the notes. Yes. Just like that. Just like that. So it'll look like this when it's clean. So this needs to be cleaned up. Order detail customer product. Order detail customer product. Be this one. I bet you all of these need a cleaner name. Nope, just the one. Of course. Of course. The one is the one that's missing. It's like Murphy, right? So. Okay. Let's go see what that looks like now. Better. Looking better. Looking better. All right, now we can probably remove some of these formatting rules. This quantity is huge. I think we could probably just get rid of that altogether. Now you can nicely see this on the device. Scroll over, you can see the notes. That's nice. I think I'll make this view a quick edit. Yeah. Because then, if I had multiples of these, I could do this, and I could change these really fast, and I could add notes really fast if I wanted to. I like that. So now this gives me my building order. Let's see if I add... Let's see what that looks like. Okay. It's looking exactly like what I want. Got the totals, got everything. Okay, so next thing I want to do now is, so now that I've got fields that hold the individual line item prices, now I need to change the total field that I had up above. It was just it was like counting the quantities. I didn't know what I was thinking. So I need to change that so that it's looking at this new column that I just made and summing that, right? On my order table, come down here to my order total, right? Go to my formula, and so instead of this, you see, what is this? Why am I summing the quantity? I don't even know what I was thinking. Do the total cost is what I need. Yeah. Minus the discount. And if that is less than 0, set the price to 0. Otherwise, do whatever the math was, because we're not going to show a negative price to people. We save all of this. We should see the new grand total. Should be a huge number for this. Ooh. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Sometimes it gets stuck like that. All right, here we go. Here's your grand total with your new customer $5 discount. Woo! You got $5 off your $3,000 order. Worth it. All right. That is line item totals. That is a grand total. That is a discount. Okay. The other things that I want to do now is I want to upgrade the product table so that it includes a list of all of the, so it also has a list of prices, because the customer products does, but I didn't include anything inside the actual products. So that's what I want to do. And it looks like I want to kind of clean this up a little bit too, just to make it, whoa, what just happened? What just happened? Oh, it cropped his selection. It was my bad. I clicked the wrong button. Wow. Okay. And magnets. Magnet problems. All right, so here I am in my products table. The thing I want to do is I want to add in a product price type. All right, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the way that the pricing system works so that it includes the ability to have weight-based prices instead of just, per item. But I'm going to give people the ability to select what type of pricing they want to use. So this is a thing where sometimes people aren't thinking about, this is something that you'll need to include inside your system. Whenever you have something like this where there's like 2 options, you could just have 2 fields and like just use the presence of whatever in that field. I find it's easier, right? It's cleaner to actually include a column, legit column, that you make an enum type that somebody can make the selection, where it literally holds the word that says what this is supposed to have. When you include stuff like that, right, I can base all kinds of advanced, highly complicated things, and like the logic for it becomes as simple as, does this column equal whatever? Keep it simple. So I have a field for the type. That's where this enum column I'm talking about will be. And then I'm going to have product price. That's it. Okay, so that's on the products table. So let's get that into the app. While that's cooking, I'm going to come over here to products, and I'm going to add in a corresponding thing here where I'm going to say, actually I should copy this one because I can get the word product. And, right, I'm going to add the same concept to this layer because it's basically a copy of the other one. Okay, so products. So if we finish the product type, so you come down here, it set this to a price. Nope, I want this to be an enum with 2 options, either by weight or per item. Okay, helpful hint. Whenever you do stuff like this, whenever you're setting up an enum column like this where you've got 2 separate fields, and then this is especially true if like the field that you're dealing with or the value that you're dealing with includes special characters or a space. The space is a special character too. Never count on yourself to to type this out the right way. Copy paste. Copy the name of the field, open up some kind of text thing and put it over there, and then copy each of these values that you just typed in there, copy them into your text editor, and then like start and then save this file and just keep it, because you're gonna come back to that over and over and over and over and over again. When you're making a slice, when you're making an automation, when you're doing the condition for an action, when you're doing XYZ things that are all based on this specific thing, this specific string that you typed in, it's best to have it legit stored somewhere so it's easy to get to. Helpful hints. I'm going to make this a text. I'm going to make this a button, and I'm going to make this required. I'm going to default this to per item, just because I like things to have a default so that I can easily make them with an action. You know what I mean? Give this a display name. This would be product type. If I can type. Okay, that's that column. And then the actual price is the price by itself. We can do this. I'm just going to give it a label because we don't need the plus buttons. I don't want that. I'll make it required, and I'll default it to 0. Yeah. That way, again, I can create the record with an automation or with an action if I need to. And like that won't be empty. And this will be just price by itself. This needs to be required. Yep. I'll make it searchable. Okay. Save it so all of that gets into the system. That's that. Now let's go back over here. So I added to my customer products table a product type column. So I need to add this in. Here's another helpful hint for those of you who are working with note parameters. If you're using the standard starting template, I have already added this table to my app, which means all of the formula bits from the note parameters and everything have already been put in place. It's generally a good idea when you get them into your system like this, go back and delete all of the notes out of the headers. Specifically, usually people will change the header because it's got a placeholder inside it. This gives you the ability, if you changed it and you left it there, sometimes that will override that. So it's just good for standard operating procedure that like I added this table, come back here, control everything, select everything, go to edit, go to delete, and delete the notes. And call it good. PSA over. Okay. Product type. So let's do the regenerate on the customer products. Grab that new field. And then I'm also going to do a thing. This would be fun. I'm going to show a quick way to get the values from the other ones into this one too. So let's set this up. So the product type needs to be set up the same way that the other one is. So it's an enum with these two options. So like, see, this is where this comes in handy. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to copy these options so that I get the exact string that I used last time. I'm going to default this. Nope. Okay. So this needs to default. It's required. And the initial value needs to be whatever the original product is, right? So the product dot, if we go to the products table, product price type, like that. Okay. So now it will set to whatever's over there originally. Product type. Yep. Okay. That's that. And the customer product price. Yeah, I didn't do this one either. Yeah, so this one should default to whatever. Well, the original one didn't have a price. That's why. That's why. Makes sense. But now, there's no reason why we can't pull in whatever the original price was. Perfect. So when I create the copy of the product for the customer, it will default itself to whatever the price is over there. And the products over there start with a price of 0. Okay. That's all the bits and pieces in place to make all of this stuff work. Okay. Oh, wish I had that on a clip. I would have cut to that real quick. Okay. All right. Did I do the selection one again? Of course I did. I just need to get rid of that one. Okay. I've got order details with the total cost. I've got customer products. Okay, you know what else I want to do is I also want to add in, so on the order itself, I included a field that would allow you to enter a discount for the order as a whole, right? What I really want to do though is I want to include a way where you could discount an individual line item. And leave the other thing over there on the order too, because yeah, why not? I want to be able to just be like, for the whole thing, give me $5 off. Or for this one thing, give me $5 off or whatever. You know what I mean? Yup. Okay. So on the order details, I've got a total cost. And so I'm going to say, oops, I don't want to move the column. I want to add 2 columns to the after the cost. And I want to say order detail discount total. I'm going to copy this, use it for this discount label, right? Okay, now that I've added a discount to the individual line item, I need to take this total cost and I really need to add in a subtotal, right? Like the original. All right. So the idea here is the product has a price. We times that by the quantity, and that gives us our subtotal. Then we can add in, if we want, a discount, giving it a label, and then we have the grand poobah total cost yonder way here. Yes. All right. Let's put that inside our order detail columns. That's the thing that I'm looking for, 100%. Okay, so if I take this formula from the original total, take it out of there, and put that in the subtotal. Okay, change this to a price. Give these some names. Subtotal. Let's give this a name. So discount. Call this discount label. Actually, I don't need to give that a name. I'm only going to do it here. What should the discount be called? All right, I'm only going to include a description on this one because I'm only going to show this inside the form. Nope, not that one. This one. Yeah, I'm only showing that inside the form because I'm going to use whatever the person types in here. This should be text. I'm going to use whatever they type in here as the label for this. So I'm going to have like discount this, and ifs is not blank the label, then add in, let's see. I'm going to make this whole thing a giant concatenate just to clean it up. So it's concatenate with this ifs is not true. And so then it'll be like, I want a space after the discount. I want to open a parentheses. I want to drop in whatever the text the person entered. And then I want to close the parentheses after it. And that's the ifs. And that's the concatenate. So this is what I want for my label, right? So if there is a discount label, we will include it. Otherwise, it's just going to be the word discount by itself. Or it's going to be discount space parenthesis and then whatever you typed in. 100%. 100%. That's why I'm only showing the discount label column inside the form, because the form is the place where you're going to enter the text that's going to be shown over the actual discount label when it's shown anywhere else. Follow me? Here we go. Wrong one. Okay. Got my that. Gonna save it all. I got the total cost. So now the discount price this. So now, okay, the app formula for the total cost will be the subtotal minus the discount total. There it is. And that gives me the grand total. All right. That's totally updated and set to go. I'm going to do, what I want to do now is I want to do some cleanup work of my data source. A lot of times when you're working on your app like this, you will eventually get to a point to where you've got one set of records and another set of records that are derivatives of, they're like copies of the other ones. And what happens if I add a column over here and I added a column over there and I want all of the records to match? So I have product A and I've got 5 versions of product A over here. I want the price that I set for this to go to all of those over there. How do you fix the database? How do you fill in the blanks like that? This is how you do it. Actions. Actions, you could use automations to kick it off too. So the first thing we got to really do though, is we need to create the action that we need that will set the values we're looking for. So what are we doing? So we go to behavior, we go here. It lives on, I'm trying to update the customer product. The thing that I want to do is I want to set the product type and I want to set the product cost to whatever the linked corresponding thing is over there. You with me? So I come in here and I say product link dot. So this is the type from the products. So I'm just creating an action that's pulling in whatever values are used from the blueprint table, which is what this product table is. And I'm just making one action to where when I press it, it'll copy those values over. Give this a name, set customer product. I cannot type today. Details from product. Yes. Okay, I don't need to see it. It's a system thing, and I'm going to leave it a dumb action so that I can just kick it off and call it good. Okay, so this is like part 1 of what you need to do. This is the thing that actually makes the change to the database that we want to happen. So the idea then is I want to take that action that I just made and I want to run that on every record in the customer product table. First, though, we're talking about taking data from the products and moving it into the customer products. First, I got to make sure that the data in the products table is actually what it's supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? Like right now, I believe it's all empty. So first, so part 1, probably should have done that first. I need to fill in all of this stuff. And so this is where like, yeah, I'm just going to do all that gibberish. Some of these prices are nuts. Like, look at this. Whatever category 1 product number 6. Yeah, it's $4,800 by itself. It's an expensive product. Now I need to set some values for the types. So I'm going to set most of these to per item. So I'm going to go copy my value, paste it in here, copy it down. All right. But like, I want to change some of these to per weight. Just a few of them. So, okay, let's change this to like 1.22 and I'll make product number 1 and product number 20 all per weight. That way it's easy to remember for me so I can pick it out, right? Okay. So now that these have values, what I want to do is I want to copy all of these over to the customer products. And that's what this action will accomplish. Now I need the bit that will run this action on all of those. That's a different action that I have to create. I'll leave this open so that we can easily find it again. So I'm going to make a new action. It's going to live on the customer products table. And it's going to say, it's one of these, execute an action on a set of rows. The rows I want to update are the customer products. It's the same table. The rows, the actual list of rows that I want is every record in the table. So I'm just going to come over here, copy the name and copy the ID and do a simple table call of all the IDs right there. So that gets you every value. It's essentially the same thing of coming over here to the Google Sheet and saying, select the whole column minus the header, right? That's what you're doing there. Do that and then run set customer product detail from product. That action that I just made. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a name. Ref update all customer products. Okay, so now that's part 2. I now have the action that actually runs the update on all of the records. So now I just need to run that action that I just made. This ref update all customer products. I need to run this. But I do not want to run this inside my app. Like, I don't want to push that button in the app, because how many records do you have in that other table? I don't want to do that in the app. That means I got to sit there and wait for all of that to process. There is, thankfully, a hack that you can do to like run this immediately through automation. And you can literally run it with a push button. It's through a scheduled bot, right? So if you schedule a bot, there's a button available up at the top to run the scheduled bot. So I can create it, schedule it for who cares, make it to where it's saved, and then just run it. That's the idea here. So I've got this ref update. So I'll go to automation. I'm going to come over here. It doesn't even matter what any of these things are called. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to put gibberish everywhere, because it literally doesn't matter what this, I'm going to delete this as soon as I'm done running it. The important bits, right? Over here, you got to make sure it's scheduled. The actual scheduled stuff doesn't matter. Make sure it's for each row in this table is turned on, and then select the appropriate table that we're talking about. Okay. That's the setup that you need, right? I just need it to be scheduled for every row in the table for whatever table. Okay, now the task that I need to do, doesn't matter what it's named, it needs to be this run a data action. And you guessed it, it's that action that I made, ref update all whatever whatnots. Okay, that's it. Save this so that it propagates through the system. And now check it out. That run button is totally available for me to run. And so, like, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some dual screen stuff here. And so I've got the customer products here open, right? And you see I've got some values in here, but I changed everything. They're different over there. And these are obviously all empty. So when I run this, by pressing that run button, you see it's going, it's thinking, boom, done. You see how fast that was? All of them are updated. All of them have the appropriate values inside them. It looks like this. Like this one's probably, if I look, product 20. Yep. And the other one, the 1.22, is product number 1, right? And you can see it's still sitting here thinking that it's processing, but it's done, because we can come in here and we can look, right? Booyah. That is how fast and how easy it is to run a mass update action on all of your records using automation, so that it doesn't take you forever to sync. Happy days. Okay, now that I've got all of my values theoretically updated in my customer products table, right? What am I going to do next? So, okay, I ran this mass update automation You could keep this if you wanted, like you could disable this and just leave it here for like in the future. If you wanted to be able to come back here and hit it again, you've got it available. You don't have to build it again. I'm just going to get rid of it. Just keep things clean. You know what I mean? All right. And those actions, I'll leave the actions alone. I'll leave them over there because those are standard type things. You know, I'll probably want to use those again. So no purpose in deleting it and then getting them back. So now I should be able to create. So, okay, here we go. A little more UX cleanup. So I want to update my view here so that it shows me how much each of these products cost. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with this view. Obviously, I'm already using the 2 spaces that I have available here. So if I switch to large, I can do something pretty close to the other one. Like if I get rid of these so that there's no action buttons visible. Okay. And then if I select the whole white space, right? I'm not any of the individual things, but just the random white space in the middle. That's the on click. And what does it do? I don't want it to go to details. I want it to do that tap thing that I have. Yeah, here. Tap this product. Okay. So for this main big thing, don't want it to show anything. For this header, I don't want it to show anything. For the sub header, like all of this stuff down here, I don't want it to show anything. I'm thinking like this will be the image. Show the whole image as a square so we see the whole thing. Yep, so we've got the product name. Okay, so maybe I'll put the product name here. I'll put the product description here. Okay, this is looking clean. I'll put the category here. Oh yeah, and I'll put the price here. Can get rid of this. And so, yeah. Maybe switch these 2 around. So like I put the cost here and the category down there. I think I like that better. Oh yeah. You get everything all in one shot. You can actually read the whole description now. Like this will grow to fill the whole space. They're bigger. Yeah. So, I mean, I have to scroll through a whole bunch more in order to whatever. I think I'll stick with that for now. The other thing I could do is I could use a table, but like if I just show you what that would look like, this is not helpful for tapping. Do you know? Because the whole idea is like it's a tap thing. If I'm on a computer, it's fine because I'm using my mouse and my little thing is small, you know. But if I'm using my finger, or my thumb, and I'm out in the middle of, you know, nowhere doing this, tables like this, it's really easy to mistap. So that's why I generally try and stick with something larger like either the deck or one of these cards like the list one. Helpful hints. Okay, when I tap this, yep, I want 2 of this. Okay, now this one is per weight. All right. So if we go look at this thing that I just did, that product number 1, you see, like I want some way to differentiate. I want to be able to know when I'm looking at product number 1 that it's per weight versus the other ones. So maybe this is where, like, okay, maybe we put the description down here and then we put the type here. You know what I mean? I kind of want to put the per by weight with the price. So like maybe put the type there and then put the category here. I mean, they are grouped by category already, so I mean, I don't really need to show the category again. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe down here on the subheader, I put the price. I'm open to suggestions. I see there's some people watching. But I don't know. Anybody got some suggestions? What do you like? What do you think looks good? I kind of like having the price all the way at the top like that because it makes it easier to like, you know, it's the first thing your eye sees is, you know, I think I kind of like it that way. Yeah. I think I do. I like it that way. Because like when I look at this, the natural flow of information that I get is first how much it is, how that price is in relation to how I'm going to get stuff, and then what it is. But like I'll key off of this product 1 first because it's the biggest thing on the screen. Do you know what I mean? So like when I do something like this, when it's like and I land on a screen, like my eye can immediately pull out product 16 and $8 really, really, really fast. And then if I'm looking at 8, I can kind of get per item pretty quick too. So little things like this that you should take into consideration when you're building the UX for your apps, you know? But yeah, man, I'm kind of liking that. And then I guess maybe I could add in, like the only thing I could do here would be, yeah, see the label won't show is like, I'd have to port over I'd have to port in like the weight thing over here. Because I don't have it on the individual order details. Oops, I didn't want that button. Order details. Yeah, see, I don't have the type for this one. You know what I mean? Because that'd be just duplicating that piece of data. I guess I could bring it over in a virtual column. So if I go to the product type on the customer products, like I could just bring that in as a virtual column. It's virtualization that I don't really like to do, but you know, price, oh my word, type helper, and like I don't want this to have a label in, or I guess maybe, yeah, price type. I guess I do be helpful to differentiate this. And then like I'll throw this in this here. Maybe. And again, I only want to see this outside of the form. Don't want to see it in the form. So like on this view, like maybe, oops, not that one, this one. You know, like quantity by weight. You know, but then I can't see the total price all in the same screen, you know, like even if I do narrow, I bet you that still doesn't really get it in there. And like if I put the quantity first and maybe this, I can smush stuff in there. Yeah, see, like there's no good way to get all of that on screen at once. If you're using a slightly larger display, you could get all of it on screen at once. Clearly not here, but you get what I mean. Like if I had a wider iPhone or something. Man, the dilemmas of good UX design. I think maybe the logical sense is 3 by weight, and then you can get the total cost over here. Yeah, it kind of sucks that you got to scroll to see it, but maybe there's a way to shrink this down. You know, the thing that I could do is I could try. All right, now I'm moving into like ancillary debug type stuff. I could try it instead of making this a helper. I could make this the label for this whole row, and like the idea would be that I would pull in the not the original product, but the customer product's name. So like I'd come in here and I'd say, you know, like product name, and then add in like a little space and a parenthesis, and then the type, and then the closing of the parenthesis, and like make this the main label for the whole record. Do you know what I mean? Like that versus that. and then change this to only show this helper thing, since it combines the two together. Grr, grr, grr. And get rid of the product. Yeah. Because then, pretty close. Yeah, I got pretty close to getting those all on the screen all at once. Yeah. And so then it's just a matter of making this the right size and locking that size in. Hopefully that still works. Because now I got everything on one screen and the notes are off to the side a little bit, which is totally fine. Yeah, see, it's still... That sucks. All right, let's see if that gets it. Because I want to see the whole phrase. You know what I mean? I don't want it cut off like that. Damn it. Oh, well. Pretty close. Pretty close. That's about what I'm going to have to deal with here. So if I go back to my orders, this, nope, okay. It was a customer product that had, I gotcha. Okay. Just looking at that formatting thing that used to be there that's not shown anymore. That exists over here. Showing me like this one's not part of it. This one is part of it. Okay, so now I've got my weight bits. I've got pricing. Okay. And then if I click this, it still only shows just the quantity. I don't know if I can get that to show per weight. I'm trying to figure out some way that I could get the weight information, you know, the thing that you're doing this per weight inside this display thing. Perhaps I'll just stew on that and come up with something better. But that's the idea. Yeah, you can see like the whole difference between how do I do per item pricing and per weight pricing. Like technically there is no difference between the two. Like it's the same thing. It's the same math, you know. I have a price, times it by how many I say that I want. Oh, the thing I will need to do for weight, the thing I will need to do for weight entry is like, okay, so when I say I want this, this can't be just a number anymore. This needs to be a price. Or I mean, it needs to be a decimal. Because for weights, obviously I need decimal, right? So on order details, on the quantity, I need to change this from number to a decimal. I'm going to give it the label, and I'm going to give it 2 decimal digits, which, you know, you might need to nuance that for your own use case, because you might need to, you know, 3 digits or whatever. But yeah, that's the idea, because then, like, on these things that are per weight, like, I could come in here and I could be like 3.25. Yes. This is what I want. You know, I do think I want I want for things like that, if it's just a standard number, I do want it to have those plus buttons. Yeah. And increase it just by 1. Yeah. That should kind of give me the best of both worlds on this. Because I should be able to go in and do a decimal, but if I'm just doing a regular full number, like I should be able to just say, yeah, exactly. Like I want 5 of these. It's a really expensive item. And then for like, nope, I don't want that one. But like, okay, product 20 is per weight. So like this one, you know, I want 5.65, whatever. Ah, okay. I know what I need. So when I say that something is priced per weight, I need to know what is that label. What is the weight type? You know what I mean? Another thing I forgot. I was about to call this done. Product price. So this is actually the weight. So product. What do I want to use here? So this is the weight price label. Weight I'll just call it the weight label, because is kind of just a label. You know, it doesn't play into the calculation at all. It's just a word that I'm going to put above the quantity thing. That's all that I'm using this for, is if it's a weight, then I'm going to put that in the quantity field. So it should show up inside that input space. Should. All right, so products I just updated products, so I need to grab the new column there. While that's cooking, I'm going to add the new column to the product on the customer side of stuff. So this would be weight label. Okay. Yep. Okay, the weight label needs to be a text. This needs to show only if the product price type equals per weight. And it needs to be required if the product type is per weight as well. Booyah. Okay. That's that. Okay, now I added this column. Yep, added this column to the customer products table. So I will regenerate there. Helpful hint, you don't have to save when you regenerate. When you hit the regenerate button, it also does the save first. Helpful, save a little time. So we go to the product weight label. Yep, and set this up the same way. This needs to be a text where it's required if the customer product type equals, and I need to get this on my clipboard again, by weight. And then I need to make this required if it's by weight. I need to default this to whatever the product's original setting was. So go grab that column name. Booyah, booyah, booyah. Okay, give this weight label. Actually, do the same thing as I did as the other label. What type of weight should be used? Something like that. Come up with better words later, right? All right. Product, customer product weight label. All right. The thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to take that, and then on the order details, on the quantity, I want to concatenate a whole bunch of stuff together. So quantity I'm going to leave by itself, and then ifs with the IFS, right? Ifs the customer product dot oh, that's the label. Okay, I'm just gonna drop that down there. So if the customer products product type, if the product type equals by weight, right, then I want to pull in the customer product dot weight label. Oh. And then this actually needs to be, so this needs to be space, open parentheses, and the actual label and the closing of the parentheses. And we close the ifs, we close the concatenate, and that should be it. So if it's just a quantity, it should be just quantity. If it's by weight, it should say, I want to come in here and say in, and then like you would use, and then whatever the label you typed in, right? Okay, let's clean up the labels. So this weight label, instead of being a text, I want this to be an enum that allows people to add stuff and it remembers what they put in. That's a text with the drop down. Now, the reason I do that is because like someone's going to type in kilogram or kg period. You know what I mean? Or like whatever, LB period. And like the next time somebody comes into this thing, I just want them to be able to select that versus typing in their own version of pound or their own version of kilogram. You know what I mean? So that's where the enum type comes into play really well. I'm going to do that on the customer products as well. So the customer product weight label, I'm going to change this to an enum that allows and remembers. It's a text of the drop-down type. Okay. That's this. I want to, so that automation that I deleted, I should have kept that. So now I want to run it again. Because I want to update this. I want to add in the weight label. The product dot product weight label. Because like I want to grab all of the labels that I'm going to put in the original products and copy them over to all of the actual products. All right, so I just need to make my bot again, right? So gibberish, scheduled event for each row for the table that I want to update. Go to the step, gibberish, run the data action, and the action is, where's that? Ref update all customer products. Save it till it propagates. And then I'm going to run that. Oh, you know what I need to do before I run this, actually? So I need to come back here and I need to put some labels on here. So, like, I'm going to make this a kilogram, and I'm going to make this per pound, just to make it confusing. Yes! 2 types. Oh, and this thing is still sitting here thinking it's working. So let's refresh the page so we can get that to stop. Yep. All right, now run again. Okay, now that should have probably copied. Yep. Oh, okay. There it is. Yeah, there we go. So now that's got all of those. Happy days. I'm going to disable this and just leave it there. I'm going to take my own advice finally. All right, now we've got the weight, we've got that. So when I come into here and I say I want to add a product by weight, right? So let's delete something that I already added. Oh, yeah, no, there we go. Yeah, you can see it totally up here. So in the quantity, it says in pounds. Yes. Versus if I click on one of these other items that are per item, it's just regular quantity by itself. Don't you like it when things work? Yes! Yes! Love it. Okay. That I do think is going to be the rounded off final bit that I'm going to include for this. We've got, yep, my discount to where I can discount the items. Let's see. Oh, that's what I should do, is I should include the discount inside this tap thing that I do here. Okay. So in behavior, I have this action on the order details. Yep, that's the input. And so all I need to do here is I need to add another version of this to the other column. So right now it's only setting the quantity. What I want is I want the quantity and I want the discount total and the discount label, and hell, I'll throw the notes inside here too. Okay, the thing I got to do is I got to copy this input formula into each one of these, and I'll paste it first. This is like, you know, order of operations things. And then all I got to do is copy the name of the column from right here and put that inside each one of these spaces there. Make sure that worked. Yeah. And then just copy, paste, paste. Up here, copy. What I'm doing, oh, FYI, just to like what I'm doing up here to copy this really easy. So instead of like me trying to like, oh, where's the front and oh, click and drag, and like instead of trying to do that, okay, if you just leave it one solid string with no spaces, no special characters, if you just double click on it, it gets you the whole thing. But you'll notice it's also getting this space at the end. I don't want the space. Okay, there's a trick you can do. If you double click and hold down, like I'm holding down, And then if I drag back, you see how it got rid of that little space that was selected on there. So double click and hold, and then drag back. Double click and hold, drag back. That's how I'm getting that really quick. And then just double click, paste, double click, paste. That's the trick to that. I think that's everything. Discount total, discount. Yep. Okay. So now I've updated that. You can do, go back here, and when I select the item, now I've got how many do you want, what's the discount you want to apply, and the note. And like as soon as I do this, the label doesn't appear. That's too bad. That's too bad. It's all right. In Input's defense, this is still very much. Oh, do you know what this is? No. I bet you this isn't Input. I bet you this is the. Go look. We're on order details. This is probably because, yeah, I have this restricted so it only shows in the form, and technically this isn't the form. So, wrong button. So if I get rid of that, I bet you that will appear inside there. Wow, look at that. Now I wonder if it's conditional. Like will it conditionally go away? So like, what if I come here and I say, cool, only show the discount label if